Good morning. Welcome. Hi, Julie. Oh, lovely to see you. Or to know you're there anyway, even though I can't see you. Hi, Lynn. Good morning, Chris. And Stuart. Hello, Stuart. And Isabel. Good to see you all. It's another lovely sunny morning. I shall be walking into York after this meditation and a little bit of meditation of my own. Perfect day for a bit of a stroll. Good morning, Graham and Rose and Shobit. Good to see you, Shobit. Hope you're well now, and just aware of all the terrible things that are happening with COVID in India. If you can spare some money, please donate to the various India appeals to help combat COVID and the effects of COVID. It's really important to help our brothers and sisters out there. Good morning, Helen. So welcome everybody on this Wednesday morning. And this morning we're going to do a self-care meditation. So I just want to talk a little bit, give some background to that really. Good morning, Jenny. We're really odd human beings, aren't we? The Buddha said we're mad. We're completely mad because we go around in our lives causing ourselves suffering. And one of the ways we cause ourselves suffering is to get to be at war with ourselves. This terrible conflict that goes on within us. Sometimes it diminishes, sometimes it's very strong, but it's there most of the time, for most of us anyway. This sense of criticizing ourselves, not being good enough, feeling under par, feeling that we're embarrassed about who we are, thinking that we're not good enough in terms of our appearance, that our noses are too big, or our bodies aren't quite right, or all kinds of different things like that. We spend a great deal of our lives in conflict with who we are. And of course, this isn't going to make us happy. This is going to do the opposite. The more in conflict we are with how we are, whether it's the way we look or the way we act, or the way we feel or anything else, the more we're in conflict with that, the more unhappy we're going to be. Because we've set up the conditions for war, an internal war that does nothing but destruct and cause pain and suffering. So we need to be aware of that. We can't just stop it. It would be lovely if we could turn a switch and stop it, but we can't. It's a habit that we have that comes probably from childhood and beyond, and it may come in Buddhist terms from previous lives. So we do need to approach it with kindness, because it isn't our fault. If we try and just stop it, if we get upset about it, then we're just adding to it. So the only way we can deal with this conflict inside is by through kindness, just by noticing it and being kind about it. So if it's something like the way we look that we can't really change, or getting older, or something like that, then we can just notice that and keep noticing it with kindness, and eventually we'll begin to accept it. If it's something we can change, like the way we react to situations, the way we get angry or say things that aren't particularly helpful, or if we just feel not good enough, then we can notice that and we can do something about it over a period of time. And that's what this meditation is about. It's about helping us to change our attitude to ourselves, to be kinder to ourselves, to be more accepting. And if we can do that, therein lies the path to happiness, to true contentment. So it's really worth pursuing. It's really worth working on. So we'll begin in a moment. Just first of all to say hello to Jane and Michelle and Joanne and Philippa and Dimple, who've just joined us. Really great to see you all this morning. And also welcome to all those who join us on the recording, because I know there's quite a few of you as well. You're very welcome too. Okay. So you can do this meditation anywhere you like, lying on the bed, lying in bed if you want, sitting in a chair, lying on the floor, whatever you want to do. Just make sure that you're comfortable and that you can stay in that position for about half an hour. And I'm just going to clear my throat. So the main thing is, if you've not meditated before, the main thing to do is just to relax. We're not trying to get anywhere or make anything happen in particular. We're just trying to notice what happens, how we feel, how we respond, what thoughts are going on. We're not trying to stop thinking or anything like that. We're just trying to be patient with whatever arises in our experience, and patient and kind. It's all about kindness. Okay, so we'll just begin in the way we always begin, by just settling into the meditation. Just noticing how we are this Wednesday morning. How we are mentally, emotionally, and physically. And you might be feeling good, or you might be feeling not so good. Might be feeling really grumpy and upset. So however you are, just being completely accepting of that state with a lot of kindness. And just noticing what it feels like to be here right now, lying on the bed or on the floor, sitting on a chair or cushion. What does that feel like? right now? Can you feel the contact with what you're sitting or lying on? The contact between your body and the chair or the bed or the floor? What's that feel like? Can you feel the pull of gravity? The earth holding on to you, embracing you, keeping you safe. Can you feel the tingling in your body? Particularly in the feet, soles of the feet, and the hands. Just relaxing, nothing to do, nowhere to go. And if you're having trouble relaxing, then just try to stop trying to do that. Just notice any stiffness or tension or tightness, and just shower it with kindness in your imagination. Breathe into it. Don't try and stop it or push it away. Just be there for it. Snuggle up to it. If we allow it to be as it is, the strange thing is that it will start to go. You might notice any particularly pleasant bits in the body as well. Bits that are relaxed, that feel okay. And then bringing your attention to the heart center. Somewhere just below, beneath the rib cage, in the middle of the chest, at the bottom of the rib cage. Somewhere around there. It's a heart center, the place where we get lots of positive feelings. Can you feel any warmth there? Particularly on the in-breath, you might feel that. The warmth, the kindness. Well, a kind of open feeling, opening our hearts. If you can't, just try bringing to mind somebody that you love, a person or a pet. Just relaxing, always relaxing. Just bring an image of somebody you love to mind and see what happens in the heart center. A sense of warmth, tingling. If you can feel it, allowing it to spread all over your body. And if you can't feel anything, just relaxing with that. It's okay. So we begin this practice by reflecting upon our own view of ourselves. How do you feel about yourselves? Right now, how are you feeling about yourself? As human beings, we're very multifaceted. We're like a precious jewel, absolutely beautiful, absolutely perfect just as it is. We're multifaceted, we've got all sorts of different aspects to us, just like a jewel. We've got bits that we really like about ourselves, perhaps, if we're lucky. We've got bits that we don't like. We've got happy bits and sad bits, grieving bits and critical bits. Parts of us are content, and other parts of us are very dissatisfied. We've got bits of us that don't feel good enough, or that want to be different, and bits of us that quite like ourselves sometimes, or certain aspects of ourselves. So can we acknowledge all of these different bits with kindness, with acceptance? Can we see that we're simply doing our best to live our lives in this complex world? And can we gaze upon all these different bits of ourselves with a sense of kindness and affection? They're not our fault. They come from the past. They're part of our conditioning. So can we gaze upon them with affection and kindness? Can we hold the whole of ourselves with a sense of love? So we know there's parts of ourselves that we can change and parts that we can't. So we can begin to accept and care for the bits of ourselves that we can't change. But the parts of ourselves that we can change, we can help ourselves with these. Instead of trying to force them in any way, we can just notice them. Just notice that the things we do, the way we act, the things we think, just noticing that we do them with kindness, just noticing with affection the kind of things that we do to cause ourselves suffering. And there's a part of ourselves that can help us be okay with this. Part of ourselves that can be our own best friend. always with us, just noticing that we're upset, noticing that we don't feel good enough, noticing that we're reacting against the world. And if we can be our own best friend in this way, we can support ourselves. We can be there to help, to give ourselves encouragement, and to help ourselves accept the way we are for now is okay. We may want to change it ultimately, but for now, that's who we are, and it's all right. So can we, in some way, be our own best friend, always there to bring a positive attitude, always there to support and help, and to reassure? Can we be this good friend to ourselves? So now in the third stage of this practice, maybe we can make contact with the parts of ourselves that struggle, the parts that don't feel good enough, parts that don't have any confidence that we can get along in this world, the bits of us that are frightened, a bit scared about life. We could see these parts as a small child nestling within us, perhaps even having a connection with the small child that we used to be. Can we see our vulnerability and our lack of confidence and our sense of not being good enough as this small child? Just frightened, the little frightened part of ourselves that needs help. So can we turn towards this small child and help it? Can we hold its hand? Put our arm around him or her. Help them to feel more confident. Help them to feel better. Can we lend support to our small child? Help it to feel worthwhile. Help it to grow and gain confidence. Can we be the grown-up to our inner child? So keeping the inner child close, keeping on holding its hand, holding him or her close, looking after them. Can we now find our inner critic? This part of ourselves that constantly criticizes what we do, constantly tells us that we made a fool of ourselves. We could have done that better. Why did we do that? This inner critic that seems really harsh and unfriendly, and is never happy, never satisfied. Can we locate the inner critic, and can we just accept that actually the inner critic has our best interests at heart? This part of us is frightened that we don't fit in with the world, frightened that we really aren't up to it. This inner critic just wants us to be perfect, wants us to be absolutely okay in the world. So our inner critic has our best interests at heart, but is just completely deluded, because we're not perfect. And it's okay that we're not perfect. We don't need to be perfect. The beauty of each of us is in our imperfections. And we're going to make mistakes. We're going to embarrass ourselves. Things are going to go wrong. And that's okay, because we're just tender human beings doing our best. So can we help our inner critic to feel more secure? Can we soothe our inner critic? Help it with a sense of perspective. It doesn't matter when things go wrong. We can learn from them and begin to change. So can we bring a sense of love and kindness to our inner critic, even as it is criticizing us? Can we learn to see it with affection? So as we begin to move towards the end of this meditation, just bring in the whole of ourselves to mind again. This human being that we call me, that's doing the very best to live the lives in a complex world. making mistakes, having successes, doing our very best to make the most of our lives? Can we have a sense of connection and support to ourselves? Can we be our own best friend? Looking after ourselves when times get hard, being there for ourselves when times are good. Always supporting ourselves, always positive. And can we look after the child inside, this frightened part of us that doesn't quite feel up to the world, that needs looking after? Can we look after our small child within and help it to grow, help it to feel okay? And can we embrace our inner critic with love and kindness and know that it's simply worried about how we are? Can we reassure it? Can we allow our inner voice, our inner critical voice, to settle and to feel okay? And as we move towards the end of the meditation, can we acknowledge that we're not alone in this work, that every other human being on earth feels the way that we do, whether they show it or not? We all have the need for a good friend. We all have the need to look after our inner child. We all have this inner critic that needs soothing and looking after. So can we open our hearts to all the people meditating here this morning, just like us in so many ways? And all those people that we know, our friends and relations, people we meet regularly, they're all just like us in so many ways. So can we open our hearts to all of them as well? Can we go even further and open our hearts to the whole world, to all the beings in the world, all of them just doing the best to live the lives? Can we radiate a sense of solidarity with them, a sense of kindness, a sense that they are on the same journey as we are? So I hope that was helpful. And I would encourage you during the day to do what I do, and that's just notice all these different bits of ourselves. Notice when we feel a bit scared, and just step in there with a little bit of self-love. Notice when we're at war with ourselves, when we're in conflict in some way, and just learn to stop doing that, just to notice it and let it go. And when we hear the critic in our heads, to just let it be, just soothe our critic. Maybe have a little bit of a smile at it, because it's a little bit daft at times. Uh, so just look after yourselves today. Take care of yourselves. You're all beautiful beings, and you all deserve to be happy and content. Um, so have a good day. I'll be back again tomorrow with a giving and receiving meditation. But in the meantime, stay safe, and lots of love to you. Bye for now.